book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, and verse 25. And it reads, Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Excuse me. Mischief shall come upon mischief, rumor upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priests, and the counsel from the ancients. NLT verse 26. Calamity will follow calamity, rumor will follow rumor. They will look in vain for a vision from the prophets. They will receive no teaching from the priests and no counsel from leaders. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem Halushai, Harvakakudash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect that's seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen. Some look like the heathen. Beginning 144,000. Preacher, teacher, the prophet, Shalom. Yeah, the main topic is famine. All right. Rumor upon rumor, calamity upon calamity, mischief upon mischief. All right. The main topic is famine. All right. But I want to get this real quick because I got a video I'm going to play. Father, I was Will. My girl Lena Petrov and Trump on June the 29th. Declared a national emergency over fertilizer, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta pull it up. It says, real quick, new top stories. The latest news on July the 3rd. And it's a lot going on, man. In your areas, I'm pretty sure it's a lot going on in your areas. And mine, there's a lot going on in my area. A vehicle hit a light pole the other day. Knocked the pole down. Car flipped on the side. The damn the wires was touching the car, man. I'm surprised, the joint didn't, catch fire, electrocute the person and kill him, and burn our whole town down. Oh boy, hey, these people, man. As a matter of fact, it happened on the first of the month. Niggas got their check. Beginning of the 4th of July weekend too. And I'm telling you what happened. They probably had a bump of cocaine or some Jack Daniels on. Niggas got excited, man. Hey, wintertime of prophecy, man. Hey, these people, man, gone. Hey, excuse my dark sense of humor, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, because they've been told, man, these people been told through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shai. Alright? Now, wintertime where these prophecies are happening all around us. Alright, these things are happening around us. One of my favorite Psalms 91. Yahweh Shema Shai said he will not allow any plague to come out of thy dwelling. That means that Yahweh Shema Shai will not have any calamities or plagues affect us wherever we are. That's why he says that he'll give the angels charge over us to protect us lest we dash our foot against the stones, man. All right, so we're comforted. All right, real quick, it says man fatally shot in Walmart parking lot after dispute over parking space. Authorities say. So people are killing each other over, shooting each other. And the love of many is waxing cold, man. It's hot too. People's tempers are flared up because of the situations. And it's hot. People have zero tolerance for anything, man. No regards for life. Over 2 lines, man. Over what's that about? 7.5, 8 feet wide parking spot. People out here tripping. Man dies after self-immolating outside United Nations headquarters in Manhattan. See, people gone. More people than thought may be at risk for red meat allergy caused by ticks. ICE arrests 10,000 illegally in U.S. in 5-day span. Everything Trump administration have got to do is illegal, man. All right. It says, let me see. Surprise rival. Okay. Let me see. Tribes hope farm bill can feed more people and preserve indigenous culture. Well, y'all Gadites, man, and Reubenites. So turn back to Yahweh Shema Shai. Man, our people, man, they want to do everything their way, man. That's one thing about us Gadites, man. A lot of us Gadites are tenderhearted. Shit, I'm not. All right, but a lot of our people are, man. You tenderhearted, man. Yeah, you want to hear? Well, I believe in the universe and protecting the earth and forgiving all people. That shit ain't in the scriptures. Forgiving all people, man. We're not supposed to forgive the Israelites, man. And those that's in the truth at that. And we forgive our 2/3 of our people when they die, man. Alright? And they're gonna be all good in the kingdom. Hey, once that spirit leave their flesh here on earth, they good. You know? Ain't no need to even have no ill feelings towards or even talk about them. You know, let these people, other people talk about how wicked they were, man. You know? You know, they done left a tainted name in the earth. So let these wicked people talk about it. We ain't got to talk about them. You know? They're irrelevant. What they did here on earth is irrelevant, man. They stained their name. You know, but once they spirits leave the bodies, man, hey, it's all good. Hey, we love you again. Which, hey, really we love you now. Because Yahweh Shema Shai got us out preach, teach, prophesy the names of Yahweh Shema Shai, like big brother Elder Malcolm always says, man. Resting our lives daily to do so, to preach this gospel, man. You know? But hey, we know it's only for the elect, but still we out there to preach the gospel, man, to profess the names of Yahweh Shai and this true doctrine, man. Making our bodies a living sacrifice, ultimately for the elect, but this truth is for all Israel. But we know that the wicked of our people are not going to take heed. You know? It says, explosive diarrheal illness reported across U.S. See map of affected states. Yeah, they've been talking about this for what, about 3-4 days now. All right? I'm kind of speed talking, y'all, because this phone is shut off. Let's just get the states. I just want the map. See, you got the map. Look at the damn map. Let me see. Loss of appetite. Lost appetite, bloating, including burping and gas and stomach cramps, extreme tiredness, fatigue, fever, nausea, vomiting. Let me see. So the states are, damn, half of them, almost, damn near. Alaska, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Okay. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Let's pull that back up. Hopefully it's still here. Like I said, the main topic, famine. We got a video. Oh, man. It don't went away, y'all. Damn. Let me see. Okay, here it is. The water, how about Shema Shai? It says, dangerous heat wave kicks off 4th of July weekend. There's going to be a lot of chaos there. It done started around my way. Something done went down. Ambulance and police officers done shot by. This was maybe 35 minutes ago. It says, they still searching for bodies over there in Venezuela, man. Yeah, that's it, man. Let's go ahead and hit the main topic. Let's hit this main topic. Famine. Yahweh Shema Shai said, I'm going to see the evil arrows of famine. Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel chapter 5, 16. Let's start at 15. Now, this is to the Israelites. But now, it's still to the Israelites, but now it's upon Babylon as a whole. The earth really, you get 2 Edges 15 and 16, these curses shall be upon the world. These plagues shall be upon the world. Excuse me. Ezekiel 5, 15. So it shall be a reproach and a taunt and an instruction and an astonishment unto the nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgment in thee, in anger and in fury and in furious rebukes, out of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai spoke. Yeah, and hey, Yahweh Shema Shai is most definitely going to jack up the 2/3, man. All right, since you want to join with America, Esau and his blessing, which he's at the end of. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, And I will increase the famine upon you and break your staff of bread. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee, as the Lord Yahweh Shema shall have spoken. Trump declares national emergency on fertilizer. Please don't go away. The White House AI overview. President Donald Trump issued an executive order / proclamation on June 29, 2026, declaring a national emergency to protect the U.S. food supply. The order temporarily lifts countervailing and anti-dumping duties on phosphate fertilizer imports from Morocco for up to 8 months to combat price spikes and availability issues. According to White House fact sheets and data provided by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, key details of the measure include cost relief. The action is expected to reduce phosphate fertilizer prices by roughly 22%, saving American farmers an estimated $1.82 billion annually. Yeah, okay. You say so. Hey, you got the drought going on, this heat burning the crops. Hey, people, don't forget about the switching of the weather patterns. That did a lot of damage, Then the drought, then the heat, AI data centers, and the lack of fertilizer. Hey, then the sickness of the cows, chickens, the ranchers. The ranchers deal with the animals, farmers deal with the crops. Supply chain context. The emergency declaration prompted by global supply chain disruptions and procurement challenges allows Moroccan phosphate fertilizer to enter duty-free to bridge the gap while domestic production is being expanded. Industry impact. The American Farm Bureau Federation has supported the measure, citing prior surveys indicating that 7 out of 10 farmers were worried they would not be able to afford adequate fertilizer for the season. You're not. Right? You can have as much fertilizer as you want, man. If you don't have water, we're in a drought. This heat, the AI data center is sucking up the resource. If you don't have water, you don't have life, man. All right? It's just not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. All right? It says, you got up in I believe Aspen, Colorado, you got the fires breaking out. You got people setting fires in Florida, California, all over the United States, which they set up, man, bought and paid for. Start fires, man. All right, to cause distress, harm, danger. Contaminate the air. It's already hot. You niggas out here starting fires. people out here tweaking, man. It's too damn hot to be starting fires, man. Damn. Additional actions. The Trump administration also previously invoked the Defense Production Act in February 2026 to help protect the domestic production of elemental phosphorus. Anyway, I want to hit that real quick. It sounds good. Anytime these devils somebody helping, forget that shit. Let's play this video, man. From my girl Lena Petrov. Check this out. Look at her. She just ruined buffets forever. Look at me. That's always a nigga woman doing something stupid. Always doing something stupid, man. That's what don't nobody wants you. Straight up.
Putting children first, always and everywhere.
Ishmael give you money.
Donate at SaveTheChildren.org.
So you can drop a load on you and let their sons that just turned 12 and 13 get their rocks off on you, man. Get their first piece.
Control input. It is.
Lena Petrov. Washington panics. Trump declares national emergency. Food crisis ahead. You damn right, it's a food crisis ahead. All right. You damn right, it's a food crisis ahead. Let's get real quick. We just got the evil heirs of the famine. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 4. Let's start at 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die the unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. So we're in a time of these things, not slacking, man. And it's upon the world. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it and feel it the worst? America, man. And yes, ma'am. Food crisis, global, man. All right, let's play this joint right here. Check this out.
Something unusual just happened in Washington, and it did not make front-page headlines the way you might expect. President Trump has declared a national emergency, not over oil, not over war, not even over semiconductors, but over fertilizer. Yes, fertilizer. And buried inside the decision is a warning signal about something far bigger, which is the fragility of America's food system, rising global supply chain instability, and a quiet crisis that could hit grocery prices in the month ahead. So what exactly happened? Why fertilizer and why now? Let's break it down. On June the 29th, President Trump signed a presidential proclamation declaring a national emergency tied directly to America's fertilizer supply. The immediate action is very specific, which is the administration is suspending certain anti-dumping and countervailing duties on phosphate fertilizer imports from Morocco for up to 8 months or until the emergency is lifted. Now, the goal here is very, very simple, and it's an urgent one as well. The goal is to keep fertilizer flowing into the United States before the next planting cycle begins. Because if that doesn't happen, the next risk is not just higher prices, it's reduced harvests, tighter food supply, and potentially another wave of food inflation. So the White House made its position very clear. The position is fertilizer is no longer just an agricultural input, it is now a matter of national security. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what fertilizer actually does, and hear me out, I will make it very, very brief. Modern agriculture depends on 3 core nutrients. These 3 core nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Phosphate fertilizer specifically provides phosphorus, which is essential for crop growth and yield. Without it, production falls sharply. So corn, wheat, soybeans, rice, cotton, fruits, vegetables, nearly everything in the American food system depends on stable phosphate availability. That's how important it is. And here is the critical timing issue. Farmers typically buy more than half of their annual phosphate fertilizer between fall and early spring. And so that means that supply disruptions right now don't just create price volatility, they threaten the next harvest cycle. So what triggered the emergency? That is the big question. According to the administration, it wasn't one single shock, it was a convergence of multiple shocks. First, global fertilizer supply chains have been disrupted by ongoing geopolitical conflicts, particularly in regions that are tied to production and export routes. Now here, I'm specifically referring to the US and Israel's war against Iran because it effectively halted shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, and I've reported on this multiple times here on my channel, so I will not be repeating myself. And the second producer, that is one of the top producers in the world, is Russia. Russia produces fertilizer and exports it to other countries. Now, the second reason for the national emergency situation is that several major producing countries have restricted exports or introduced trade barriers which tighten global availability. I'm not going to go into greater detail here in this video, but if you are interested, let me know in the comments below, and I will cover this in greater detail over on my Substack and Patreon. Now, the third reason is shipping disruptions across key maritime routes have made fertilizer more expensive. Also, it made fertilizer shipments slower and less reliable to move. So, put together, these pressures have pushed prices higher while making supply less predictable. And in Washington's assessment, the window to secure fertilizer before planting season was closing fast. Then,
instant happiness is here at Rent-A-Center. You could get instantly approved for up to $4,000.
Before planting season was closing fast. Then, of course, comes the Morocco factor. And you would ask, well, why Morocco? We never practically hear about Morocco. Well, because beneath its soil sits one of the largest phosphate reserves in the entire world. Morocco is a dominant global exporter of phosphate fertilizer, and crucially, it remains one of the few stable suppliers still available to ship to the United States. So the policy response is straightforward, which is to temporarily remove tariffs and trade duties on Moroccan phosphate that is imported to the United States with the goal to accelerate supply and to lower costs. It is not a long-term solution, it is a pressure valve, and this is a short-term solution to address the rise in fertilizer prices and the impact that supply chain disruptions have on the food security in the United States. But on the other side, this raises a bigger structural question. If fertilizer is this important, why can't the United States simply produce more of it domestically? I'm sure many of you question that. Well, the answer is capacity and time. The United States does produce phosphate fertilizer, but not enough to fully meet its domestic demand when exports and industrial needs are taken into account. And scaling up production is not something that happens quickly. We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the investment, we don't have the tax structure to reward producers here domestically. So practically, we're not ready to scale up our domestic production. New mining operations are needed. We are going to need processing plants and chemical facilities. Those take years of investment. They take years to obtain permits, and of course, construction requires a long period of time before these facilities become operational. So in the short term, imports are not optional, they are essential. The immediate impact of the emergency declaration is expected to be felt first by American farmers. Lower import costs could reduce fertilizer prices by an estimated 22%, which will ease one of the most significant input pressures in agriculture. That matters because farming margins are already very tight, and fertilizer is one of the largest recurring costs in crop production. But the ripple effects extend even further. If fertilizer becomes more stable and affordable, it supports higher crop yields in the next growing season. Higher yields reduce the risk of supply shortages, and that feeds directly into one of the most politically sensitive issues in the U.S. economy, which is food inflation. Because even if consumers don't see immediate price drops at the supermarket, fertilizer costs eventually show up in food prices with a delay. So they will show up, but there's going to be a delay, which is quite normal in the economic cycle, as you know. There's also a geopolitical layer here that cannot be ignored, and I want to quickly touch upon certain factors in this area. So the declaration is not just about agriculture, of course, it is about resilience. In recent years, global supply chains have been repeatedly disrupted. Let's mention energy markets, semiconductor shortages, rare earth dependencies, and now fertilizers. So the pattern is becoming very, very clear. Commodities that were once treated as purely commercial are now being reclassified as strategic assets, and governments are responding accordingly. That is why this move is being framed not just as economic policy, but as national security policy. Because if fertilizer supply breaks down, it doesn't just mean higher prices, it means lower yields. Lower yields, of course, lead to tighter food supply, and tighter food supply can translate into inflation, instability, food shortages, and of course, political pressure. So in that context, fertilizer becomes far more than an agricultural input. It becomes a foundational pillar of national security and stability, arguably, as well. The emergency declaration lasts 8 months, and it is designed as a bridge, not as a permanent fix, as I mentioned briefly. So we should expect, ideally, domestic production to gradually expand during the next 8 months. But the uncertainty, of course, remains, and we have to be honest and open about it. If global disruptions continue, if the United States and Israel restart their war against Iran, then this is going to be just the first of several such interventions that the White House will need to consider. And of course, there is a bigger takeaway as well. We are entering an era where supply chains are no longer assumed to be stable, where food security is no longer separate from geopolitics, and where even something as unglamorous, if you will, as fertilizer can become a trigger point for national emergency declaration. Because the next major shock to the global economy may not start with oil, it may not start with banking or with a new war. It may actually start with a fertilizer shortage, something like that, something as simple as that. And what happens to it next, of course, determines everything that follows. So if you found this quick breakdown useful, subscribe for more geopolitical and economic analysis. I would love to have you over on my Substack and Patreon. If you can, please consider supporting my work by becoming paid subscribers on YouTube, Substack, or Patreon. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah, I ain't looking good. It's gonna happen soon. Famine, high prices, shortages, rationing. Famine means extreme shortages of food or scarcity of food. It's gonna happen soon. Stay pretty, How about you, my show?